Hey there, what's going on? Bryson with Dimes for Dollars here, and in today's hunt we have $100 in pennies. Last hunt was a little slow, so I doubled down. I got $100 this time. Let's see what we can find. We're looking for wheat cents, Indian head cents, Canadian cents, errors, and varieties. Also proofs. So lots of good stuff. Let's get started, and I'll bring you in on our first find. Roll 1 of box 1, and we have our first find. It's not an American cent, but it's a Canadian cent, 1960. That's going to be a young head. And there it is. 1960. It's a good way to start it off. I'm hoping to find some wheat cents. Roll number 11, and we have 2 wheat cents. We've got a really rough 1944 Philadelphia. Looks like it's been in a parking lot or something. And then we have another wheat cent right back here. And this one's going to be a 1953 Denver. So 2 wheat cents. 11 rolls in. Let's keep on hunting. Roll 21, and we have a pre-40s here. Yeah, 1936 Denver. In pretty nice shape too. It's going to be a pre-40s, and we've only got 3 wheat cents, so I'll definitely take that. Awesome. We're not even halfway through the first box, so let's get back to it and see what else we can find. Roll 32, and we've got a really slick wheat cent here. Only wheat cent number 4, but this one looks really good. And that's going to be an early one, 19 teens. I believe that's 14. Let's check it out underneath the scope. Alright, well here we have it, 1914 Philadelphia. That's a nice find. Unfortunately no Denver mint mark. How crazy would that be with that 31S we found not too long ago? But I'll still take it, 1914 Philly. That's our 4th wheat cent on this hunt, and our 2nd pre-40s, so definitely a good trend here. Lots of nice older stuff. Let's get back to the hunt, and we'll see if we can find any more wheat cents. Roll 38, and we have wheat cent number 5. It's going to be a 1954 Denver. Roll 43, and we have another wheat cent. And this time it's going to be a 1951 Denver. Roll 46, and we have another wheat cent. And this time it's going to be a 1956 out of Denver. Roll 13, and we have our first wheat cent of box 2. It's going to be in 1952 San Francisco. Roll 15 of box 2, and we've got another really old slick looking wheat cent. Let's see if we can find a date on it. And that almost definitely looks like another 19 teens, 1912. Let's check it out under the scope and see if there's a mint mark. Alright, well it's confirmed to be 1912. It's pretty tough to see, it's really slick, but you can see the 191, and that's almost definitely a 2 right there. And I know that looks like a mint mark, but I've looked at it closely. I believe it's just damage. So 1912 Philadelphia. Awesome, that's my oldest wheat cent I've ever found. Let's see if we can find any more. Let's get back to it, and I'll bring you in on our next find. Roll 21, and we have another wheat cent. And this time it's pretty crusty looking. Let's see if we can see a date. And that's going to be a 1940. I believe that's a San Francisco. Let's see if we can get a close-up of it. And yeah, I believe San Francisco, 1940S. Awesome, another 40s find. Let's get back to roll 25, and we have a last year wheat cent, 1958 Denver. Roll 33, and we have another 50s wheat cent. This one's a 1957 Denver. Roll 38, and we have another 40s wheat cent. And this time it's going to be a 1947 out of San Francisco. 4 rolls from the end of box 2, and we have an old Canadian here. That's going to be King George VI. It's pretty crusty. Let's see if we can see the date. 1952. It's another fun find. We'll add that to the Canadian stuff and we'll get back to the hunt. 9 rolls into box 3, and we have another wheat cent. We got a 1944 San Francisco. Roll 11, and we have a really nice wheat cent here. Really nice detail in the reverse. Let's see how the obverse looks. 1957 Denver, and that's got some nice toning to it. I will definitely take that. That's a really nice find. And we're only 11 rolls into box 3. Roll 14, and we have another 50s wheat cent. It's going to be a 1958 Denver. Roll number 18 is going to be a really nice roll. We got 2 wheat cents, and this first one's in really nice shape. And it's going to be a 1955 Denver. Awesome. Usually you see them in the late 50s. Still a 50s, but it's an earlier 50s. Second wheat cent's back here. And that one's going to be 1944 Philly. Roll 29, and we have a couple new finds. We have another old Canadian here from 1956. It's pretty neat. It's going to be a young head, Queen Elizabeth. And then we also have a wheat cent back here. It's another one in really nice shape. Let's see what the date is. 1953 San Francisco. Awesome. Another good addition to the collection. Let's get back to the hunt. Roll 33, and we have another 50s find. And this time it's going to be a 1957 Denver. We're now on roll 37 of box 3, and we have another 50s find. And this time it's going to be a 1954 out of San Francisco. Roll 38, and we have a 40s wheat cent here. This time it's going to be a 1945 Philly. 7 rolls from the end of box 3, and we have another wheat cent. It's got some odd damage on it. And this one's going to be a 1942 San Francisco. Nice earlier find. Glad to have it. 7 rolls left to go in box 3. 1 roll from the end of box 3, and we have another wheat cent, and it's going to be another 40s, this time 1944 San Francisco. Well, we're all ready to roll 15 of box 4, and we haven't had any wheat cents, but we finally do now. Looks like it was cleaned or acid treated with something. It's kind of rough. That's going to be a 1944 Philly. I'll add that to the collection. We'll get back to the hunt. Roll 17, and we have another 40s wheat cent. This one's going to be a 1946 San Francisco. Roll 19, and we have another wheat cent. And this time it's going to be a 1954 San Francisco. Roll 38 of box 4, and we have 2 more wheat cents. We have a 1950 Denver. And back here we have a second wheat cent. And this one's going to be a 1958 Denver. So 2 more 50s. Add that to the board. We got 12 rolls left. 6 rolls from the end now. And we have another wheat cent here. And this time it's going to be a 1946 Philly. Alright, well before we get into the wrap up, we have a couple of oddities here that I pulled aside. We have a 1969 S. And it looks like it has doubling. Unfortunately, I believe that's machine doubling, so it doesn't add any value. You can see on the rest of the coin, it's regular, no doubling to be seen. And in a 1969S, it's truly doubled. It would be all the way across, and it'd be a lot stronger. So unfortunately, that doesn't add any value, but it's still an odd find. Now, as for our second find, it may be a D over D error. We've got a 1960 Denver here. And you can see on the mint mark there, it almost definitely looks like there's a second D there. So let me know in the comments what you think of it. It could be machine doubling, just really off the coin. But it's definitely odd. I don't see that ever. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. But now let's get on to the wrap up. Alright, well we're back with the wrap up, and we have a lot to get through. We got almost a full box of copper cents. So that's very neat. We got 106 S-Mint Memorial cents. We got 26 copper cents, including a bird cent, 2 young heads, one 1960, one 1956, and a King George VI from 1952. We also got 20 shiny copper cents from pre-1981, so they're all copper and they're all in really nice shape. We had a couple oddities as well. We had that 1960 that could be a D over D. We had that 1969S with machine doubling. And we had a Hold 2006 Denver. Lincoln just can't catch a break. For wheat cents, we got 16 from the 50s, including a really nice 57 Denver, 55 Denver, and a 53 San Francisco. We got 11 from the 40s. We got a 1936 Denver. Kind of hard to see there. Let's see if we can get it here. 1936 Denver. And then we had 2 really slick older cents. One's a 1914 and one's a 1912, both Philadelphia. I'm definitely glad to add some over 100-year-old cents to the collection. You don't see those every day, and it's always fun when you do. So until next week, happy hunting, thanks for watching, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video.